dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. And when a girl takes command of fulfilling her father's dream, she can even move the mountains. Let's meet one such girl, Akanksha Mishra. Hi, Akanksha, and welcome to The Nation Needs You All About SSB.
Thank you, Sagarika. Pleasure being here.
Okay, Akanksha, first let's start by asking you the question that what are the stream of forces for which you were recommended?
Okay, so till now I have been recommended twice for Indian Air Force and once for Indian Army. So three recommendations till now as in count.
Oh, that's really great. So tell me, how did your strategies and your approach changed basis on your previous attempts?
Okay, so till the time I was getting conference out. So first of all, when I wanted, I have to focus on this. So first step is analysis. And I believe in that terminology, there's nobody else who can give you a very genuine feedback apart from your own teammates or group you have been doing the SSB at. So my first approach was doing a self-analysis at first, like what did I do, where did I went wrong, or recalling all those pictures and what theme or story I have written, my interview completely, my conference completely. So first of all, I have went through a self-analysis mode. And then I have found that there's a lot of things where I have or I could have changed. So, and also into your own personality, also you have to indulge a few particular things that which are not as per the defense requirement. So, as in personally, you keep doing the SSB. SSB is just not an exam. I think it changed you a lot within your personality as well. So I think the first step was self-analysis. The second step was reaching out to my teammates and asking their genuine feedback. And it might be critical as well. It might be positive as well. So I was blessed with a lot of supportive people till now, with whom I have met in SSB, and so I have taken up feedbacks from them, and especially getting in touch with the people who have already been recommended. So there have been a lot of people, who gets continuously recommendations. So definitely they have little bit of key knowledge to share at least. So that there are few things which you can mold up into yourself, and you can change your regular habits or regular thought process even, that might say of your psychological. So I think I have charted down each and everything where I have to work upon, and I have started preparing right from the first stage, that is OIR. A lot of people think that OIR is not at all necessary, and it is not. Then I'll just say that if it is not necessary, it would not have been done the very first test you land into the SSB. So definitely it also matters a lot, especially into your scorecard, definitely. So right away from the OIR, I have started practicing. I have focused on much on my psychological level, because that is a little bit trickiest part, where you did not understand where you went right or where you went wrong. So I have worked a lot on my psychologically, and then obviously prepared interview a lot, and ground tasks, making myself physically more active than I was back before. So step by step, all those 5 days used to hover around my mind, and I have practiced a lot to reach or taste these little bits of success in my life.
Okay, that's really great amount of hard work. So what difference did you find when you were recommended and when you were not recommended?
Difference as in, like, I have worked quite a lot hard when I got recommended. So I do have a 9 to 5 proper typical IT job, but still after that, it's a determination which takes you that even you get free at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m., then also you have to take pen and paper, and you have to at least jot down one story. So I think there were small steps of goals which I have set for myself, that I have to at least write 2 stories or 20 watts daily basis. So it's just not that one day you just pick up pen and paper and the next month you can appear for SSB. So for me, it has been very consistent. Did not matter even if I have went out with my friends after coming from a party. Also, I have written down my stories and that. So I think that consistent efforts have taken me to there, because I did have improved a lot. And also taking out time for your physical activities with such job is also a little bit of management of time which was required from my side. So I think there also I have changed my habits and food habits also, or diets as well. And then you take out time for running and doing a little bit of exercises if you want to score at GTO tasks. So I think these little changes I have made, and that I can visually right now I can analyze my both the attempts very clearly. Like when I did not recommend it, I did a lot of mistakes. I said some stupid things at interview, which happens a lot of time. But when I got recommended, I know that my flow was going little bit of right, or at least I have practiced it much that it was going on the right direction. I have got the things in my hand. Yeah.
So, Akanksha, you just said that you worked upon certain weaknesses. So, was it primarily in the psych power, let's say physical tasks, or was it the improvement in all the three major portions?
Okay, I'll say that I have improved little bit in all of those major sections, and everywhere I have improved bit by bit at least, because everywhere it needed little bit of perfection. And but for me personally, it was psychologically which I felt that was a little bit of more improvement was required there. So, for example, my problem statement used to be running like 2 to 3 lines. So, converting that 2 to 3 lines into one particular line, your problem statement should be very crisp. And instead of talking more about the problem, but more steps should be involved into that. Like, how do you solve that problem is majorly more focus line over there. So I think that is the area where I have improved a lot. For that, generally I needed a lot of practice, and also I think I have channelized my thought process, particularly in my psychological task. And more importantly, which I have found out is like the SD, which we write in the psychological task. I mean, that is little bit of more kind of pre-planning of your on the interview itself. So I think I have worked a lot on my SD, and for that you have to analyze your own personality. You have to go down deep down into your own life, like what and all you have done, what and all challenges you have faced in your life, and how did you came up through that. So based on that, and talking to your parents, friends actually help. It's just not like that I want myself to be seen as a dedicated person and I just write it down there. So you have to actually talk to your parents, or at least identify like what they in general talk about you with their friends or families. From there you get the insights, and you write whatever you write in your SD is going to be starting and ending point in your interview completely, because I have seen a photocopy in my interviewer hands as well of my particular SD. So as well of my particular SD. So I know, and they just cross verify each and every question. Kind of focus on your SD. If they make you stuck between your parents' decision and your girlfriend's decision, for example, like if you marry or not, either you are breaking your parents' choice or your girlfriend's loyalty. So there they'll cross check. If you have written that you are very loyal, you are an ideal daughter or son of your parents, so they just cross check that what you have written, are you really that person or not. So I think very key important point of psychologically is your SD. Whatever you write, they'll give you the situation, they'll talk so friendly that, but ultimately if you just rewind your interview, somehow or the other hand, it is just cross verification of your own SD which you yourself have filled in. So I think psychologically I have worked a lot. The second important fact which I have worked is definitely my English. I used to speak very, very fast. It's like a lot of thoughts keep coming onto my head always. So a little bit of presentation, a little bit of eye contact is required. That confident look you have to get, like eye to eye contact with an interviewer, no matter how much he's grilling you down, because they'll always try to put you into under a nervous mode. Always. And they'll taunt you sometimes. They'll say some disliking or disappointment things right away at your face. This is kind of engineer you are, you didn't know this much. So even in that situation, you don't have to keep calm. So that particular practice is required beforehand, so that as many of questions you can think about a particular sentence or about your life incidents. That is important. Second is analyzing your own life. I know that everybody has their own story, Sagarika, and everybody has been through some or the other kind of challenges, some struggles, may it be family background or their professional or personal even, but how they have come up through that. So that is where the core part of lies, because everybody is here out of facing some struggles, financial, emotional, or anything it be. So you have to drill down yourself that yes, and focus on and believe that yes, you have came out of that So this is nothing but a courageous step you have already taken. So that means you have that particular courage in you. So you have to just analyze yourself, like what kind of person you are, and jot down some of those kinds of incidents. Somewhere you have won some competition, somewhere you have faced a low point, but then how you have came up. So you have to keep such incidents apart, jot down, so that when interviewer tells you, okay, tell me somewhere, this is your strength. If you tell them, but my strength is courage. So here's the next question. He'll just pop out like, okay, tell me an incident where you have, you can depict that you are a courageous person. So in such incident, these kinds of self-analysis helps you a lot, because those incidents are just into your head. And else what happens, we come out the interview room and then we'll like, oh shit, I should have tell this, because he doesn't know you, but you know yourself. So knowing yourself is very primary key factor, which everybody should do it. And that will help you even in psychologically or interviewer. Apart from that, obviously having a 9 to 5 job has left me a very little bit of time to do my physical activities. But I did change my schedule, and I did find out at least 1 hour for myself to do running and little bit of exercise, so that I should not be lagging behind, because GTO is also very much important for you. And yeah, I think so bit by bit I have focused on each and everything, and I have tried my consistent efforts. Like another one thing is like, it's not that only Sunday and Saturday you write some stories and that and it's going to help you. Personally, I don't believe that, because your thought process is something which you think continuously. So if you're writing the stories and that every day, so that is refining your thought process. So if you want a clear, mindset that, okay, this is the picture, this is hitting me, and this is how the structure is gonna be. This is the word, so this is particular thing is hitting me. So I think practicing, not only practicing, but continuously practicing. Being around such videos like as you make a lot of about that, and also I think these kinds of things, at least help you. So I think consistent efforts, knowing yourself at best, because nobody else knows you better than you, and a little bit of improvement, analysis, and feedback is going to help you. Yeah.
So you mentioned about that, and so what is your approach specifically for that? And then please explain us that how did you tackle that? And thereafter, I'll give you 3 words also, so that our viewers can actually know instantly that how they have to approach towards these 2.
Okay, first of all, regarding the tag, like a lot of people say that I'll break a little bit of myths over here, and from my own personal experience, a lot of people think that there has to be a problem. First of all, it's apart from writing the story, the first step is percepting the picture. It's like what it is there. For example, if there are only 2 people who are just sitting in a restaurant, doesn't mean that there is a fire outbreak outside. You cannot make a fire out all of the sudden just because you have to put in some problem. It's nowhere inside a restaurant. They could be discussing about something. They could be discussing about some plan, some initiative together, but you cannot just do any unrealistic problem over there. If a problem is not depicted into particular picture, then see, okay, I'll say like there are 2 kinds of picture. The first one is where problem is very much visible to you, like people are playing hockey and you know what is the background. There's an accident scene where they want you to consistently focus in that particular situation only. There's an accident, now you have to just provide the first and you have to take the person to the hospital. There's a hockey play, then that match, the story has to revolve around that. So that is stimulated pictures. But then if there are open theme picture, people are sitting together, talking, but there you should not, without all of a sudden, you should not put any fire, any, people drowning in the river. Out of a sudden, you cannot just do any out of the bolt issue, you cannot just stuck in over there. So under those open theme picture, people should actually focus on improvement of something, anything in the society, anything with a common practice which you can see. And you should not be hero alone, that only you are the Shaktiman person and you can do everything. You are not a Captain America. So I think you have to involve people as well along with you. Nobody can change a society by themselves. So I think that is the approach which I have learned through my practice. And also for a single picture, I think I have tried to whatever the themes are hitting my mind, I have written 2 stories, 3 stories, or how many number of themes are hitting my head. So definitely that is going to help you in the tag. Like even if you don't find a similar picture, but you find those stories keep they stuck into your head. if you have pondered a lot, if you thought a lot about it, you have analyzed and see. And you should not be hero alone. That only you are the Shaktiman person and you can do everything. You are not an Captain America. So I think you have to involve people as well along with you. Nobody can change a society by themselves. So I think that is the approach which I have learned through my practice. And also for a single picture, I think I have tried to whatever the themes are hitting my mind, I have written 2 stories, 3 stories, or how many number of themes are hitting my head. So definitely that is going to help you in the tat. Like even if you don't find a similar picture, but you find those stories keep. They stuck into your head. If you have pondered a lot, if you thought a lot about it, you have analyzed, and also those stories which you have already practiced somehow or the other, they get fit into one or the other tat picture. So that is going to help you over there, because there you hardly have any time to make a new story. So I think what I used to do, my approach for tat was like, for a particular picture, I at least try to write 2 stories on that. At least 2 stories. If I'm not getting, then only I go for one, but at least I try as many as themes are hitting on my head. Same approach I have done for my VAT as well. A single word I have never written during the practice, only one sentence. While practicing, you should not thought about the time as of now. First practice, like channelize a thought process. Timing, you can always do it later. I mean, when your SSB is very close, then you can practice completely 60 seconds wala rule and 60 watt in those 10 seconds timer. But I think while practicing, just open up your thought process and how many sentences you are getting, you should write that. So I have done that. I have written 4 to 5 sentences at least for a particular fact. And SRT, you should learn how to be very crisp about the situation. And also you should not forget about like the ending part. For example, I'll just throw up one example here for SRT is like you are going at some picnic spot and you have forgotten the food. And so what you will do? So the answer could be like, we are going on the way to the trip. We are not we are not have started the trip, but we are on the way. So we can buy the food. So people will just stop it there. We'll collect the food packets and then we'll continue. No, you have to additionally close it down like enjoyed the trip. Like what was the purpose you were going for should always be closed down. I think if I'm making that point very clear, but whatever you're doing, like for example, you're going home and some or the other problems occur in that. So don't forget to go home. I think that's what I have learned from a few recommended candidates as well. So it's their input which I have taken across. So whatever the task is being explained to the SRT, you have to do that. Yeah, so this has been my approaches, like not just one story, one VAT, like multiples. So you just keep practicing that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you 3 words. One is never, second is goal, third is mother.
Okay.
Can you please make it okay?
Okay, so first one is never. That is a negative sentence, and obviously there's a rule you cannot preach about it. So I could not start a word with never. So I'll go with some other like braves are never afraid, or courageous never leave goal in between, like that. So something which is of my quality. I never stop working hard. So so courageous never stop working hard, or you always work hard for that. So just like that, which relates to your personality. And I think second is goal. So I think the better sentence that suits my personality is goal is achieved by consistent efforts. So I'll just stop there. Third one is mother. So as simple as that, mother is epitome of love. So that's how I see my mom. So I think the simple which you can relate to. Yeah.
Okay, so there is an idea that you have to write out sentences which are unique. So is there any base in this, or you can write anything which comes to you, whether it is simple or anything which comes to your mind?
I think it's not as unique because it will be a little bit of more which relates to your personality. So how do you pursue your goals? Like some people believe in hard work, some people believe in smart work or such like that, because ultimately it's just not one tat or one VAT out of which they are judging you. They are judging you with the complete, whole set as in all. So they'll just compare it. And if you just see sometimes, words like similar words will keep repeating, but with difference like goal, then aim, then success. So they all tend to a single category or single channelized thought. But and they will be keep coming and forth. So you have your thought process should be very clear that you should not make a new sentence out of the sudden. Like for first you for goal you have written for hard work. In the aim you cannot go for smart work. You have to be like consistent in your thought. Whatever you think about your success, like how do you achieve it, how what you have done to achieve it. So that's how the process should be. I'll just quote one example. There was a male candidate friend of mine. So he got recommended very first attempt, and for him, he never wrote a complete sentence. Hardly he wrote any complete sentence. And if there is a simple word like search, he has just written Google engine. That's as simple as that. He has done in his way. So, however, personally, I have written the complete sentences though. So I'll just tell you that, but it is more on like what is the thought coming to you. And I believe that, when you practice, your thought process actually gets channelized. So you can think faster and you can think little bit clearer. And I think that preaching is not allowed because they didn't want you to tell somebody. They're just wanting to see like what kind of person you are rather than what you want to make the society. That you have already done in TAT, like what changes you want to do in the society. But what you, personally are, that they check into the web. So I think as realistic it is to you, and even if you are not getting any sentences, you can write about some facts as well. That also I have done a lot of times. So some general fact or some news even that I have written. If something is not hitting my head, so it happens sometimes. So yeah, I think it's not that unique. It should be, but little bit of close to your personality if of that matter fact.
Okay. Okay, Kangsha, now let's come to interview part. Was there any question in the interview which you were not able to answer? And please tell us something about the GK questions also, which asked from you.
Okay, so first of all, there had been a lot of questions which I was not able to answer, and specifically of GK itself, because personally you cannot leave that unanswered because he's just asking about your life, your family, your friends. So I did not see any point where you should not answer your personal questions. But GK, yes, if I have not known any fact about that particular incident or that particular news he is asking about, I have directly said, sorry, sir, I haven't not read about it. I'll check that later. So I think that particular sentence you do have to add up over there and make sure that you'll check out on that because it might be possible that you are going to ask that in conference later. So I do have said that, but even if I have heard even the news but not the details, so I'll just tell that very honestly that, sir, I have just read a little bit part of it and I know this. But if I know, then obviously I'll answer that. But about GK, I did have even answered wrong questions as well. Like once he has asked me, you are starting from Kashmir and now you have to reach Kanyakumari. So now tell me the states you're gonna cross. And so I did miss a lot of states into that. And then he was asked me again, like, are you sure? I was like, yes, sir, I'm sure. Then he was like, again, think. I was like, yes. And bet what, I did get recommended as well. So I think even if you didn't answer a question or you say sorry or some kind of question or partially answered question does not depend upon your GK. However, I feel that there are little bit of marks of, social awareness or, world awareness, which are being provided. But as far as that is not to grade your personality, I believe. So there are people who have not answered any GK question. But yes, key point to note that I have never bluffed. If I don't know about the topic, I'll directly say, sorry, sir, I did not know about that. I'll check about it. That's it. But don't think, you have to answer about that and you have not read, so you can tell each and everything or anything about that. So I think that's where that should not be done. But whatever the amount of knowledge is with you, if I think it's very much fine that you cannot cover the whole world entirely. So, but yeah, you should be at least thorough with all those, very recent topics which are going on internationally and national. At least you should know something about that. It should not be like right now, coronavirus is going on and you should not know about that. Or, Brexit is very hotshot topic in international and you should not know about that. So a very much hotshot topic should not be left. But even if you don't know, don't bluff. Just say like directly, sorry, sir, I'll check that. And make sure that you check that before conference itself. Okay. So, yes.
Okay. So, Akanksha, tell me one thing. Had it ever happened that the interview went well, the psych test was absolutely fine, all the physical tasks you were able to do, and you were very confident that you will make it to the academy, and you got conferenced out. So had it ever happened to you? And if yes, then how did you overcome from it?
Okay, this happened after my first Air Force interview. I went to the same board again, and I was appearing for the same service back again, but I did get conference out. So I think I'll say that yes, I have faced that particular, and I was not thinking about the academy because for female candidates, it's recommendation, then a big hotshot merit is there. So directly you cannot just dream about the academy, but you just try level best. So while I'm doing my SSB, whole focus is just at one part, that is getting recommendation or whatever the task is upfront. Just do that very diligently. So I think that in that particular attempt, what happened was there that I did practice a little bit of well, and things did went well, was going well, but I did not realize, like, there is common thing, never cross talk, never indulge into one-to-one discussion. There is a saying over there, but that happens, like, it's a team task as well. You have to perform into the group, but sometimes it happened that you didn't get much supportive group as well. So I think that was my that kind of attempt, and they were very I'll say not even bad ideas, but in fact some of the stupid ideas were given at the ground task. So I think not to indulging into the one-to-one conversation, I think I did not came up there as an that leadership quality that even if they're doing wrong, it's my responsibility to correct that particular thing. But since this thing was keeping on my head, since they are arguing and five people of them are agreeing to that particular idea, and I know that is not stable. I do have a better idea, but I think that you should go always in a unison kind of thing. So sometimes if you feel that you genuinely have very stable structure and you have little bit of good thoughts in your mind, so you should came out as a leader and you should tell them that I have a little bit of better idea, and we can, instead of doing this which is unstable, we can do this. So I think there I lagged and I become little bit of submissive because 4 to 5 people were agreeing to particular tasks, and this just not happened once, it was continuously happening during the ground task. So I think that has affected, and it has led to the complete group washout. So that's where it was evident very clearly that people, how the behavior was at the ground task was not at all satisfactory, because getting a group washout in a female batch is definitely a big task, big thing over there. So I think that happened, and that had hit me because I was recommended previously just 4 months back from the same board and from the same location as well. So that was the one incident where I have felt I should have came out as a leadership. Instead of them listening, at least my GTO would have listened and he would have known that, I have better ideas. So I think there I have little bit of underperformance or under pressure, you might say. I have done that. So yeah, that was my that kind of attempt.
So, Akanksha, do you agree with the fact that your group actually plays a very important role for your recommendation? Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that, because sometimes that's only one incident when I have found a little bit of unsupportive group and we all got washed out. But apart from that particular attempt, God bless, till now I have been to 8 attempts in total count, never got screened out. So always have taken Sarkari Nashta and Bhojan, completely entered into SSB. So all those 8 attempts are very close to my heart, and have got very close, very genuine person who did not push down, who push you up. So I think that is very core feature which I have learned into SSB. So I think I have a so-called recommended back-to-back recommended candidates whom I call my SSB guru. I like to make her name, that is Lakshika Patel. So she is my SSB group, and once we were in her group, that was my first recommendation, and I get to know that it's just not about you. Once you are in the group, so you have at least the power of not getting yourself recommended, but a bunch of people recommended. So it has happened with me, like from a group, 4 people were recommended, 2 people were recommended, 3 people were recommended, and that has been my recommendation history till now. So I believe, during the group task, it has to be a little bit of more, cooperation to be there, obviously keeping the task in mind, like you have to complete that task, but pushing each other, no, up, not downwards, because I have seen people doing deliberately mistakes in others' command tasks, just to make that particular person's command task go went. So that kind of politics also went on SSB and all. But I think that is not going to help your recommendation, because GTO is all vigilant. He is seeing that, you are making deliberately fouls over there just to make somebody else's command task go went wrong. So I think you should be always very supportive, and if group is good, they are pushing you up. So I think there's always a morale is always high. So that confidence is always up there. You discuss each other, you live with those guys, so a lot of great bonding is there. So I think group do support, or I mean do play a lot of role into that. So even if you don't get a good group, you will get at least a bunch of the people who with you can perform well, and you can take the whole group together. So I think that unison it should be the core quality, or you have to get it over there to collect everybody, to have everybody all together as in group. Yeah.
Okay. So let's discuss one more group task, which is GD, right? Which is the group discussion. And everyone knows how hard it is. Sometimes it turns into a fish market. So what kind of suggestion would you like to give to the candidates, that what take should they adopt? How should they perform? And if the GD is turned into a fish market, then how one can save it from? What are your points on these?
Okay, in general, there are like for both the GDs, you at least get 15 minutes each. So, I mean, even if you're 8 to 9 people, so on an average, you're getting more than 1.5 or 2 minutes each person if everybody is speaking. At least they'll get that 2 minutes of the time. So I think I believe that there the content is little bit of more of importance in GTO GD. I'm not talking about the screening GD, that is little bit of different to talk about. But for GTO GD, it's all about your knowledge of about in and around, because that topic will be so open to discussion as people discuss over the tea. Like that kind of topics will always there, like women empowerment and what are the issues farmers are facing. So such kinds of open topic which you discuss at home, which you discuss with friends while watching the TV or news or sometimes. So I think that kind of discussions. So you should be more thoughtful about your content rather than snatching to and from that space and speaking a lot. I think if even if 2 to 3 times you have made your entry into the GD, but you have made a very valid point which nobody has even said, or even if it might have happened with me as well. Like sometimes I'm not getting any thought of that particular topic, because topic was economy and I was not a commerce student. I did not have any headshot about the economy, like what's going on around that on figures, and then people are throwing figures and numbers and statistics, so it was under the pressure almost. I remember that particular GD. But in such cases, just quietly listen for a while, like what is the area people are talking about, even if you don't know about that. Listen that, frame that, and get something into your thought head, so that when you jump into the discussion and when you say, so that particular content is very good, so that it draws everybody's attention. Yes, like that's the point you have made. And don't keep on speaking and speaking and speaking, even if you know the complete topic. That also doesn't mean that out of the 15 minutes 10 minutes you have to speak. Nobody is giving you content of how many times you have to speak. 2 to 3 times I believe is enough. And also you should take care. I mean, personally I have felt, or I generally do, to see that if people are trying by themselves, they wanted to speak, but because of their they have little bit of low pitch, they are not getting or not being allowed to get into the discussion. So I do give chance to them as well. So I think some people say that it's not useful or not that, but I think as a group member, if I'm sitting with a bunch of people, I would like to listen everybody's opinion. So if everybody is telling, and if somebody is trying, at least from their side, but they're just not getting into the discussions, or somebody speaking a lot, like means a lot, like every second speaker is that particular chess number. So you can at least give that person and listen others' opinion. So I think that's the approach of me, 2 to 3 times jumping into discussion, but content should be good. I think there the content matters, what you're speaking. Yeah.
Okay. So Akanksha said that you have been to SSB for like 8 times. So what kept you motivated? Like, yes, I have to do it. I know that getting confidence out, or for that getting merit out, is like very disheartening for a candidate. So what kept you motivated towards your goal?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't get my beginner's luck or didn't get recommendation at the very first attempt. It took me 3 conference out, and in my 4th attempt, I got my very first recommendation from Indian Air Force. So in between, a lot of ups and downs had been there. So I think the thing which has kept me personally motivated is, first thing, it was my passion. And I think the source of my passion was my dad. He has served Indian Army a lot, and he was a soldier. He served as a soldier till the end of his service, and I think there I have seen the life with him. I have seen and I've heard the real, situation what soldiers been through. So I've always seen him saluting the other officers. I have been to such establishments where officers come, and we know, like as a kid, you have seen that particular aura of being an officer. So I think it's my father's wish that even if he has seen such kind of border tough like situation, he has been into wars, he has been at borders, faced death like multiple of times in front of him and escaped by God bless. So I think even then he want that one of his kids should serve the nation, should go into the defense forces. My elder brother is there definitely, but he's least interested into it and he's having different kinds of area of interest. So I think that I want my father make proud that one day, those stripes or stars are on my shoulder, and I salute him because he is the sole responsible person because of who has given me this dream. And I think he is the proud person. I just wanted to make him proud that, yeah, even though he has been a soldier, yet I wanted like his daughter has done something very great. And I think he is little bit more escalated and more happy when I get recommendation. So he's a little bit of more, emotional about these forces and all these stuff. So I think listening that particular voice after you just call him and say that you have got recommendation, that particular voice is itself a lot of motivation to me right now. So I think that has kept me moving on and on, be it conference out, be it merit out, or again merit out, or again conference out. So I think I've never lost any hope because my goal is like very set. Like I have to do this, I have to make him proud, I have to make him stand on my passing out parade. That's it. So I think it's his motivation, his dreams, and my passion combined through. So I've never thought of, thinking of even it a far-sighted chance was not like, I should stop this. So this has never been a thought ever in my mind. So though I do have a job, I'm not looking for a job, but this is the passion which I'm carrying forward. So I wanted to make him proud one day, definitely. Yeah.
You will do that. Definitely, and we can see that confidence in you. And I personally feel that when a girl takes the stand for parents, then she definitely does it.
I hope so, Sagarika. Thank you.
So Akanksha, there was this question asked from one of the female candidates that if there is a female character in the for TAT or let's say for the PPDT, so is it essential that the story must be female centric?
Okay, I'd like to bring upon a particular incident of mine. So, what happened that in this particular attempt, I went to Air Force, like it was Varanasi first of all. So, I'll see that right now they are a little bit of more focusing that being a female candidate, how much compatible you are with men or males specifically. Like, do you feel shy with them? Are you not comfortable, you're not comfortable working or even talking with them as a matter of fact. So I believe that that is one point of discussion where they ask about the boyfriends and male friends. Little bit they are seeing more interested into that. So in my personal attempt, what happened was I do have some sort of pictures where just male and female are just standing side by side. So there's in army you do have some specifically women centric pictures where the women's area of the covering of the picture would be larger, like she'll be a little bit more closer to you and men are a little bit farther, so you can see that female character is in little bit of more eminent position. But here in my Air Force attempt I have found a lot of pictures where both male and female were at the same covering the same portion kind of whole pane. So I have written all the women-centric pictures because women were there. So, but I did not make hero even one male in any kind of story. And what happened, like in my interview with, and what happened in my interview, like when being asked about my friends. So I have taken 3 names, and unconsciously they were all females. I didn't even a thought about it, like what they are looking forward. They didn't ask me much questions, personal questions. So my interview didn't ask me much further, like, do you have any boyfriend or all? So there was no question at all about that. But that came to my realization later, because I'll tell you what questions we were being asked to my conference. directly. So my conference has been little bit of 20 to 25 minutes. So I did get to know that I have been a borderline case and there had been a lot of discussion previous to my entry. So they did chat down some questions, and the questions were like how me being a senior system engineer. So how many people I have under me? So I have told them that there are few freshers which have came just into the project. So right now my task is to transfer the knowledge about the project and all. So specifically, they were focusing more about the point is like how many males and how many females. After answering that particular question, the next question pops up is like, okay, who understand it better, male or female? So you see there they were checking like, am I even compatible with the males? Because none of my friend list was male, and I do hope that in that attempt, my interviewer would have asked me much more about that. Inquired more. Do you have any male friends? But generally, they did not ask you that upfront. So I think somewhere it has been evident from all my stories that I am even a very strong feminist kind of character. Somehow, though I am not, I do have I do cherish a friendship with a lot of males as well, and I do have a bunch of people. But this did not came out into my performance, not in my tag, not in my interview, and that has just hit that particular question into the conference. So I have believed that particularly in Air Force, it is little bit of they want you to be very compatible. You can see a male as a hero. There's no harm in that. So so I just try to this. I mean, the next time I went through, so I did try to balance up to that particular thing. If I see a male, female, and I have already written 3 to 4 female characters, then if I see first male, I'll try to make him as an heroic or like the center of the story. So I did that. I did talk. I mean, by myself itself, I talked and opened myself about in the interview about my male friends as well. So while talking about my female friends, I did include like these are my best friends, but these are also my friends. In that there were few males name as well, so that they'll get to know that you have a little bit of more compatibility. So even asking about the professional also, they have questioned me more around like who is your senior and is he male or female. So I have get to know like what he's asking. So above me, my lead was a male. So I have tell them that that the person I approached to. So specifically, I have seen this in Varanasi board, or my personal experience had been that they do focus a lot about male compatibility specific to females. And I think that is also the same with the males as well, while they are being asked about more personal questions about the girlfriends or the females. So I think this goes vice versa for male candidates as well, like how their compatibility is with the females, because now there will be soon in the increase in the number of female officers as well. So they will do check like how your compatibility is with them as well. So do you have that kind of ego? Are you comfortable talking to them and taking instructions as well for a matter of the fact if they are seniors of you. So I think it goes vice and versa. When they talk about your personal friends, do indulge second gender or opposite gender friends into your list. At least tell the names, even if you're not that close. So you can tell I have cherished a lot of friendship, like this are my friends, but I'm more close to these 3 persons. If possible, do try to make like these 1 or 2 person whom you are close to. If possible, if there is an opposite gender, I believe that is going to help you. And obviously, for that matter of fact, you have to prepare a little bit of cross questions as well. Because in my friend list, if I have included a male, so the next question was like, is he boyfriend? And why? If he's so good, then why he's not your boyfriend? So you do have to, chalk down about that. So they're just checking your confidence and whatever you're telling is the truth. So if you're just, telling the truth about there and you have prepared it well, I think you can, go over that question. So I think, yeah, right now they do check about the opposite gender compatibility, and that should come somewhere either in your TAT or your personal interview, or as it has been bad luck to main conference. So they're checking this right now. Yeah.
And do you feel that girls have less amount of seat allotment in compared to boys for defense forces in India?
That's totally government decisions as of now, but yeah, we do believe that right now, like biologically, I do feel that there's a little bit of difference in the capability of women and men. Biologically, there is little bit of difference by nature forces itself. But as we know, like right now, the war is not going to be more of the manual power, but more the technologically. It would be like the future wars won't be that manual, but rather it will be more technological or biological. So it doesn't matter if there's an aircraft, a woman is handling that equipment or a male is handling equipment. It's all about mental ability and keeping the coordination of mind and strength together. So I think the more the warfare is going to be technologically upfront, then I think that the more women are welcomed into the forces. But yeah, I do feel that it is very much disparity when you have 250 of male seats and the recommendation ends at 190 seats itself. So at least 50, 60 seats are getting empty. Like people are not getting even recommendation there. But rather in the female, so if there are 15 seats, so merit list is running plus 90, 95 people. So apart like 80 to 70 people at least get merit out in that. So I think in comparison to that, it is very less. But I think yeah, defense forces do have their limitations as of now. But I do hope like now they are opening the seats for soldiers as soldier rank as well. 100 women entries have been started. So I believe like in times to come, I think women will be more prominent. In the defense forces. Yeah.
Definitely. And with the permanent commission thing happening, our hopes and spirit are also very high.
Yes.
Okay, now tell me, Akanksha, that did you mention every fine and minute details about your hobby, your achievement in your PIQ form? Please give a little light on that area as well.
Okay, so first of all, before talking about my PIQ, I'll tell that I have not played any games at cluster level or regional level or not been any national. I have always played badminton and volleyball at casual level, like with my friends. Like I have a time I went to the games. Games period was there during the school, and I have just played it like that only. No professional, any. I haven't been to any level such that. So my PIQ is very honest, and it's almost in the co-curricular activities, though I do have a lot of stage related activities, so I do mention that under that co-curricular section. But my game sports, I haven't been NCC candidate is I'm not also an NCC candidate, so for me that is also blank. For me, games and sports, I do write my games, but in front of that I just mentioned casual level section. So honestly, like top three, which I feel that they are very prominent or they're very recent to me, like which I have, won or I have performed in my organization level or at far most level in the college level at most. So that I mentioned there. About hobbies, yes, you should be very thorough about it. I feel that, for example, I have written traveling. I write traveling and reading novels. As my hobby. So during the traveling, he do ask me like which places you have been. So I tell them that I have trek. Being in located in Pune, I have been to a lot of treks. So he'll ask me like, okay, tell me the height of it, or so that he's just checking that you are not just bluffing around it. You haven't just read it just because written it down there just because somebody told you, or you're coached or something like that. I think you should be very thorough whatever you are asking. Sometimes if people have just wrote singing, so they'll ask about the genre and some singer or anything sort of that. So a little bit of background over there. So you should little bit prepare. So even if I write playing badminton and volleyball, so I know a little bit recent news about that, and about courts and rules and something being asked, so that even if you're not getting time to play or continue that particular hobby, but you should be know a little bit about that. So you should know everything about a PIQ. Whatever hobbies you're gonna write, like be it reading novels, so he'll ask me about the recent books. He can ask me about the writers. He can ask me about the price and publisher even at sort of. So you should, prepare such questions beforehand instead of, just directly figuring it out at interview room. Yeah.
Akanksha, any lowest point in this journey? At lowest point taught you?
The lowest point, I'll tell you, like my recommendations were like out and again recommendation. So I think the last army attempt, I was very close to the merit and I lost it like very small margin, and that too I lost because I had more marks in SSB. But I have less marks in CDS, so it gave priority in the merit list. You get priority of the CDS and written marks. So people have went above my ranking. So I think that was the lowest point. And as far as I have always taken defense as an first priority. So I was not doing much into my job as well. So it was a secondary always. So I have always felt. I mean, at that point, I have just. Left a little bit of setback, like nothing is happening in defense also, and I'm not giving my 100% back in my job as well. I'm not preparing or working hard over there as well for promotions and other stuff. So I think that was a little bit of setback, but again, it does feel bad for a day or even for a week if you get merit out, because you have been everything right from written to merit out. It takes almost 1 year of the time, till the time you fill form, you give written, then you prepare for SSB, you give SSB, then medical examinations and all, and then at the end you're back to the level 0. It's like it doesn't mean anything over there. So that was a little bit of setback, I think. But anyway, I think I did have some attempts, and I was very sure that I'm gonna make it back again. And I think I came out of that. I start practicing instead of crying that what I lost. I had one attempt in my hand, so I again prepared. I started preparing back and forth again, and never shook your determination. I think never shook your determination. You want to do it means you have to do it. That's it. So I prepared again, and I did get recommendation again. So yeah, I think that was the lowest point. But I think my own passion, own determination, and I have just ponder about it, and I have came out of that. And that is what officers are supposed to do, I believe. Yeah. So consider yourself as an officer if you want to do that particular aspirant job. You cannot just cry over one particular loss. There is a lot you have to face over there. So that strong-heartedness is little bit of required. You should not be too much emotional about one thing. So I think that is something which have came into me by character through this SSB. You came out very strong. So that SSB has made me, I think, be it failure, be it success. So it has just, make you very strong and strong willpower, I'll say. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Okay. So what Akanksha would like to suggest to all the aspirants, and especially the girls waiting out there for their success. So what your success mantra is for them?
I'll not say the success mantra, but there is something which you should always do is first, as we have already spoken about, the self-analysis. I mean, first of all, you have to analyze that, do you really want to do this? I mean, should not go. I mean, I really did not like people who just come and go just because their written get clear, just because, because without any goal. I think if you want to do it with utmost passion, I'll say, like prepare for it, go for it and clear it. I mean, don't just go like, I just wanted to see the SSB. No, it's just not a roaming garden, first of all. I think this is a responsibility which they're looking forward. Because what happens, I've seen people who come into the merit and then they drop down. So I think you're just sometimes, not for army, but for Air Force, you do eat somebody's seat. Somebody's who is like me, who is waiting for their chance to get into the academy. But there, since they don't push up the merit list above, like if somebody drops out of the merit list, so I mean, that particular seat goes vacant. So I think don't eat up anybody's seat. So first of all, if you want to do it, I mean, be clear in your head, and it is not at all easy. So this is not going to be easy. Whatever you are doing, you are studying right now in college, you're doing a job, you have to give up your persistent efforts. There should not be like one Sunday practice and you can make it. I don't think so. I think I have struggled a lot. As I have already mentioned, I have not been a beginner's, recommendation. I have worked a lot, I have changed myself, and then I have got into there. So I think as far as my journey is, folks, I did hard work a lot. So I think hard work, self-analysis is there. And for especially girls, please don't lose your heart, because, even after the recommendation, I know merit is a little bit of a big question mark over there. But I'm sure, just try to make things, you're doing good. If you're getting recommendation, you're doing good, just try to make it a little bit of more better. And key point is try to focus more on your written examination. Because recommendation marks are almost little bit of, same range of all those people who get recommendation. But I think written marks, be a bit of CDS or bit of INET examinations, if you're not going through technical entries, then if you're going through these written examination, then I'll just suggest that try to score into these written examination as well. Do not neglect that, because I have seen people who are performing and getting recommended back to back, but just because they are just little bit of above the cutoff, they are losing the merit each and every time. So that is little bit of very much disheartening. And so I think, written examination should be there. And for technical students in Air Force, or people who can opt for different branch, at least for commerce students who can go for commerce or accounts branch. So I think do try if you are having any chance of different branch. So I mean, focus on that. Clear the EKT so that you did not get merit out. So that's a key point. I'll say, like, keep trying, keep practicing, and nation do needs people like you. I mean, whoever is watching this video right now, I think nation do needs courageous people who are giving their time and efforts and emotions and everything to this particular examination. So I think you do deserve that. So try the level best and make yourself proud and the family proud.
That's really wonderful, Akanksha. And we again are very grateful to you for your time, and you came here and gave such an awesome suggestion to everyone who is watching this channel right now. We wish you all our luck, all our best wishes. And we really love in the uniform for which you aspire, and you are working so hard for that.
Hope so, Sagarika. One day, if God bless, I'll be giving an interview again with an uniform.
Definitely. So till then, take care, and the nation needs you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me, Sagarika. It was nice time with you.
Jai Hind. Bye-bye.
Jai Hind.
Hey aspirants, please like, share and subscribe our channel to as many people as possible. And if you want me to make a video on any of the topics, please let me know through the comment section. Stay home, stay safe. Jai Hind.